Hello and welcome back to BIM2Foam. In this video, we will introduce to you the manual functions and commands of BIM2Foam Wall. This includes the manual placing of elements as well as accessories. Let's start. We will first look into the three different ways of placing elements manually: vertically, horizontally, and laterally. To demonstrate this, we have created this simple floor plan where we have this wall left. Here you can see the measurements so that we know which element widths we can use. Since it is visually easier, we will work within the 3D view and therefore we select the front view. We want to use similar height constellations as the elements on the corners, so let's check what the height is first. This one has 3 meters. To place elements manually, click the command Place Elements and this window will appear. You have a search option here, selections for which way the element should be placed, whether the list below should be sorted by height or width, whether the element should be placed double or single-sided. Below you can select a different formwork system than the one that is currently selected, or list all systems of the manufacturer that is currently selected. We are searching for an element with a 3.5 meter width, since the gap is almost just as wide, and we want to place it horizontally and double-sided. Select the biggest one and click OK. For horizontal placing, we have to click below where it should be placed, in this case the bottom of the wall, and in the right corner because elements are always turned to the left when placed horizontally. Since they probably were not placed right next to the elements on the left, we are just going to align them real quick. To end up with the same overall height as the rest of the formwork, let's check the height of the upper element as well. This one has 1.25 meters, which makes up a total height of 4.25 meters. So since we have already placed an element with 2.5 meters, we are going to place another one horizontally on top. Therefore, we'll use the second largest one, and to fill up the rest, we'll use another smaller size, which is 50 centimeter wide. The next step would be the manual placing of accessories, starting with tie rods. Therefore, you would always have to select two opposite elements. One way to do this is to create a section, so you could get a side view and switch over there. Then select the command tie rod and click the opposing elements. The next step is placing assembly locks. Therefore, select the command up here and either select the two elements that should be locked, or double click on the side of one of them. Since we have a small gap left, we will also place a timber filler. You can select this command up here as well and click the two elements between which it should be placed. Unfortunately, this only works one-sided, as you can see here, so you would have to do this on the opposite side as well. We forgot some tie rods here, so let's fix that real quick. Here's another option if you don't want to use a section. You could technically just select the opposite elements in the 3D view. However, this is not very convenient for this sort of floor plan. To show you another variant, we removed all previously placed parts and start again by selecting the Place Elements command. This time we want to place our first element laterally, and if you remember it right, the other lower elements have 3 meter height, so we'll search for that as we want to use the same height as the rest of the formwork. We'll again select the largest one and click OK. Placing is done by clicking the element that it should be placed next to and the wall it should be placed on. For the gap, there is a bit more than 1 meter left, so we'll search for an element that has a 1 meter width and the same height and also place it next to it. For the top, we could place an element horizontally with a 1.25 meter width and a 3.5 meter height, and as I said earlier, we have to click the element below and the right corner of it because it will be turned to the left. We'll also place a slim timber filler in the leftover gap before continuing with placing accessories. For the tie rods, we're using a section again, which in this constellation we would have to move a few times or create multiple sections to get a proper side view of every element that needs tie rods. Once you're done, you can continue again with placing assembly locks and add a timber filler on the other side as well. For the third constellation, we will start in the same way as before, but this time use the 2D view to place the tie rods right away before placing any other elements on top. We will use 3 small elements this time and proceed in the same way as previously shown. If you select any of these commands, BIM2Foam will use an infinite loop until you exit the command, so you don't have to select the command over and over again when you're using the same parts. Also add the timber filler on the other side again. For placing alignment rails, we will select the manual command and click on the two elements that enclose the timber filler. Another accessory that can be placed manually are scaffolding brackets. You can select different sizes in the drop-down and then click anywhere onto the element. If there is a multifunction hole where the bracket is placed, the nested family includes a flange screw. If not, the flange screw will be hidden. And this is the realistic view and a little close-up of our creation. For more information, visit our website and contact us to get a 14 days free trial of BIM2Form.